Hey, what's up? It's your boy Rawk. You see this? F it. I'm getting pretty tired of the whole being respected thing. I can say things and people just listen. I went into a game shop the other day and asked if they had any copies of Pilot Wings Resort, and that was considered to be a normal interaction? They didn't have it, by the way. Obviously, this needs to change. Who knows what people can give a shit about me talking about? But, lucky for me, I have a foolproof plan on how to have anything but a reputation. And all it takes is this. See this? F it. I don't really like this one very much. I'm in God's hands now.
How many people saw a game where Donkey Kong beat the piss out of Pikachu and said, "Oh, this needs to happen again"? What the fuck? The original Super Smash Bros. Was a huge success and was pretty much the Nintendo 64 doing what it did best. This system wasn't really too well suited to large-scale adventure games. It definitely had some. But the PlayStation had Final Fantasy VII, man, why bother? This system excelled at multiplayer games. So you make one where characters that were widely recognized as some of gaming's greatest icons and NES crossing over for the first time ever for a wacky, crazy, and straight-up fun fighter, yeah, it was gonna bleed cash. But Super Smash Bros. Released in 1999, and by that point, the Nintendo 64 was definitely reaching the end of its life. And with mumblings of a brand new Nintendo system being sneezed out in 2001, development was quickly started on a sequel. Now, I think everybody can agree that Super Smash Bros. Had a lot of sequel potential. There were so many characters that could be added, so many stages, so many modes. Expectations were high that this up-and-coming sequel would blow the original out of the water. So, did it? Super Smash Bros. Melee, released on the Nintendo GameCube on November 21st, 2001 in Japan, December 3rd, 2001 in the US, and May 24th, 2002 here in the UK. Did we have a particularly busy couple of months? Super Smash Bros. Melee is widely known as the greatest game in the series, potentially one of the best fighting games of all time, and I personally know it as the game whose development scares God. This game was developed in 13 months. That's barely even a pregnancy! That is an insanely short development cycle for any game, let alone one as monumental as Smash Melee. And Masahiro Sakurai described his lifestyle during that development cycle as destructive. Well, no shit, it was destructive. You were making one of the most highly praised games of all time. New Super Mario Bros. U was developed in 3 years, and nobody's out here calling that a masterpiece.
Yeah, nobody would be stupid enough to say that.
So, what's this game's deal? Why is it the Smash Bros. Of choice for so many players? And why does Rawk just refuse to give a piss about this one? Well, depending on who you ask, this intro could be the answer. The original Super Smash Bros. Saw the characters being introduced as plush toys in a child's bedroom, which was definitely a cute concept and made for a pretty damn good intro. But I'm sorry, Melee just blows it out of the water. This intro is incredible, to put it lightly. The music is a lot more epic, and the cinematics that accompany it are nothing short of breathtaking. Let's not forget, for most characters in this game, this was their introduction to the GameCube, the only real exceptions being the Mario cast. And seeing the graphical jump from 64 in full swing here is really damn impressive. Let's start off our Melee escapades with the roster, a staple of any Super Smash Bros. Melee. Now, this game sees the return of every single character from the original game, and expands upon that selection pretty substantially. From the Mario series, we have 3 new additions. Bowser, the most obvious choice for a Mario series newcomer, finally being able to fight Bowser as Mario. This game gave us something we had only ever dreamt of. Princess Peach, another pretty obvious pick, and Dr. Mario, because the only thing that was going through my head while playing the original was this is great and all, but I need my prescription renewed.
I've never felt so heard.
From the Zelda series, we also have 3 newcomers, or 4 if you want to be a little bitch about it. Zelda, the most outlandish addition from this series, but I suppose she makes up for it by being able to transform into Sheik, also known as an objectively better character. Ganondorf, The amount of shock I am feeling is indescribable. And young Link. I always wanted Link to be a child. Pokemon got 2 new reps, being Pichu and Mewtwo. I'm not gonna complain, but I feel like there were Pokemon that might have been more suitable before these two. But what do I know about Pokemon? Falco from Star Fox, Moth and Roy from Fire Emblem, which hadn't released outside of Japan yet. Ice Climbers and Mr. Game & Watch. Okay. This was the beginning of the oddball pick for the series. Sure, Jigglypuff could have been considered a pretty wacky addition to the first game, but a 2-in-1 character from a forgotten NES game and a 2D man from Nintendo's old handhelds? They fit the definition of what the f much better. This roster is honestly incredibly good. Some characters that were absolute necessities made their way over, and some more quirky and fun additions to round it out makes this a difficult one to complain about. But luckily for me, I have a degree in nitpickery, so buckle up. There are 14 additions to the roster in this game, which is undeniably cool, but 6 of them are clone characters. Dr. Mario is a clone of Mario, Young Link, Pichu, Pikachu, Roy, Moth, Falco, Fox, and Ganondorf is a clone of Captain Falcon. What in the unholy was going on there? For what reason is Ganondorf a Captain Falcon clone? They have a similar body shape, sure, but why make one of the most important characters in Nintendo's lineup steal a moveset from a character whose moveset doesn't even reference anything to begin with? These clones were obviously made to add as many characters as possible in the very limited development time, and while I appreciate their additions, Luigi was already a clone of Mario, which means that we have 3 characters that are fundamentally the same in this game. Well, fear not, because Super Smash Bros. Melee introduces new moves, and one of them, the side special, was implemented in this game, giving each character a 4th special move to pull off. And ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the only thing that differentiated Luigi from Mario until Brawl. We'll touch base with gameplay in due time, but please be patient as I'm currently very busy talking about not that right now.
Please respect my decision.
Graphically, this game is a sight to behold. It's definitely not perfect. I mean, for Christ's sake, it's on the GameCube. But it's probably one of the most impressive looking games in the console's library. The only real complaint I have with it is that due to how early this game was put into development, all of the characters still use their N64 era designs, which makes them all feel pretty dated. Granted, it can be kind of cool to see older designs in a much more modern form factor, but look at Yoshi. This is disgusting. All of the stages, on the other hand, look fantastic. And we have a really good selection here. Now, in terms of overall content, Super Smash Bros. On the Nintendo 64 was pretty barren. So Melee makes up for that with 4 life sentences worth of content. How the hell does a game that was developed in 13 months have more content than some modern games that have had several years of development?
Mario Strikers Battle League, anybody?
This is honestly where Melee shines the brightest in my opinion. The sheer volume of stuff to work through is absolutely astonishing, and to some extent makes Melee a better single player game than multiplayer, in my opinion. Classic mode makes a return from the original game, and every round is randomized to keep the experience feeling pretty fresh every time through. The 2 bonus stages from the original are here in full swing, being break the targets and race to the finish. And a new one is added into the mix, being nab the trophies. This mode also introduces Giga Bowser, the source of all children's fear. Then we have adventure mode, which is simultaneously the most impressive and underwhelming thing in this game. It has a lot of actual levels to make your way through as your chosen character. The Mushroom Kingdom, a Zelda dungeon, which is painful to play through as Bowser. He's nothing more than a walking toe in this game. An escape from Brinstar, an F-Zero race, which, again, really painful to play through as Bowser. These parts of the mode are incredible, and really feel like they make the most out of the crossover aspect of the game. But then most of the other rounds are just fight a bunch of Kirbys on the Kirby stage, a bunch of Nesses on the Onett stage, 2 small apes and 1 big ape. It just screams missed potential, which is really disappointing. We then have the stadium, which houses the home run contest, where you just beat the piss out of the sandbag, multi-man melee, which is pretty self-explanatory, and also target test in case you want to drive yourself insane doing it with every character.
Been there, done that, got on the waiting list for therapy.
And finally, my favorite mode in the game is event mode, which gives you 51 different events to work through, each with different win conditions and contexts. This mode can be a blast! and also knows how to kick the shit out of me, but it's still fun.
The content in Super Smash Bros. Melee is insane, and that's not even taking into account the unlockables, because have you ever tried to unlock everything in Melee? Mewtwo alone requires 20 hours of versus matches, and you need to have Mewtwo unlocked to unlock Mr. Game & Watch. Slow down! There is legitimately so much to do in this game, to the extent that you could probably play this game for years and still have new things to do in it. So it's a damn shame that I hate the gameplay.
Oh, I am gonna have to sleep with one eye open after saying that, but I'm not gonna sit here and lie. I only do that in court. Super Smash Bros. Melee is one of the worst playing games in the series, and I'm tired of acting like it isn't. Now, obviously, Melee is the competitive Smash game of choice. It has one of the biggest esports communities out there and is played seriously by thousands of people. And that's only the case because the game is fundamentally flawed. When a game is developed in only 13 months, issues are inevitably going to slip through the cracks. And that is absolutely the case here. This means that Melee is obscenely easy to exploit, which means that professional players can make this game their bitch in ways other games could only dream of. For the competitive scene, this is great. But the problem with that is, it makes this game really difficult to enjoy when you're not into playing it competitively. Much like the first game, this game is most tolerable with 4 players and items. Now I know what you're thinking, but Rawk, didn't you say you don't use items in the games that play well? That's right, I did say that. Which is exactly why I have them on in Melee. I just can't get behind the gameplay here in Melee. There's always this slight feeling of unease because of how little control I feel I have over my character. At best, I still think it's miles worse than all of the games that follow it. And at worst, I feel like I have no control over my character at all. And it's just, how am I supposed to enjoy that? What makes this so upsetting is that content-wise, Melee stands toe-to-toe with the best games in the series. I want to be able to play through everything this game has to offer. And honestly, the GameCube controller feels like it was made for Smash Bros. But for me, gameplay reigns supreme over all else. That's actually why I'm one of the only people who will defend Mario Strikers Battle League to some extent. Sure, there's piss all to do in that game, but the gameplay is damn near flawless. But here, we have the exact opposite issue. There's so much content and I want to engage with all of it, but I just can't stomach the gameplay. So I just have to make peace with the fact that I'm never going to experience everything this game has to offer. So many people adore the gameplay here, and I'm really happy for them. Jealous even. But for me, this just doesn't do much for me because again, gameplay is the most important thing to me when it comes to games. And the gameplay here just ends up giving me a headache.
Is Super Smash Bros. Melee a good game? I don't even think I need to answer that question for you. This is honestly a perfect sequel. It took what the original introduced and expanded it more than you ever would have expected it to. I know I keep coming back to this, but the fact that this game was developed in 13 months makes all of this content astonishingly impressive, and I have an immense appreciation for this game because of it. I can absolutely respect this game as the biggest leap forward in series history. It just upsets me that I can't enjoy the gameplay. But hey, at the very least, you can change the perspective of the menu, which means that we can finally select characters using the only acceptable camera angle, also known as this. And remember, kids, that's not an opinion, it's a mandate.